Hi, bro. Rock and Barrel. Happy Veterans Day. Anybody here having a bad day? Yeah? At least you're not Chuck Schumer. So Pixie and I have been married for 40 years. She'll have like 50% of a conversation before she walks into the house and bringing me into it. At that point, I'm accused of never paying attention. And I have to admit, I do forget a lot of shit. I have what's called Italian Alzheimer's. I forget everything except the grudges. We're Italian, we talk with our hands a lot. Pixie's always going a mile a minute. Sometimes she looks like she's trying to land planes on an aircraft carrier. Well, she broke her wrist a couple of years ago, and she developed a speech impediment. She just stood there. You know, when I was preparing to get married, I went to my dad and I said, "Hey, Pop, tell me, what do I need to know? How do I make this marriage successful?" He says, "You need to know 2 words, yes, dear," which struck me as confusing because I never heard him say that to my mother. So I go to my off-the-boat Italian grandpa and I say, "Hey, what do I need to know about getting married?" He says, "Well, this is a girl, she's Italian?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "She's a Sicilian?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, you can tell a lot about this girl by the way she uses her hands." I said, "How so, Papa? Tell me." He goes, "Well, for instance, if they're wrapped around your throat, she's probably pissed off." Do you know the 3 most dangerous words in any marriage? Any guesses? I was thinking. Last time she was thinking, it cost me 50 grand to add an addition onto the house. After 40 years, I figure there's 4 stages to marriage. The first stage is newlywed. You know, it's great. You're going at it like bunnies. A lot of playful banter, sexual innuendo. It's the best time. The second is happy. The sex is good. The sex is frequent. But what do you get? The kids banging at the door. "We hear Mommy screaming Yahtzee. We want in. We want to play." The third stage is amused. You're feeling amorous. You run to the bedroom. You rip your clothes off. You just look at each other and crack up because gravity's a bitch. And finally, there's that tolerance stage. That's where all that playful banter is turned into a bit of bickering. You still have sex. I like to call it hallway sex. You just walk by each other and go, "Fuck you." You know, I've been around a lot of Italian women my whole life, for generations. One thing that's common is they talk incessantly. It's almost as if they can't even breathe. It's like they're not breathing at all. And what I figure is they're actually breathing through their ears, which blows that whole theory of, "I'm not giving you head because I can't breathe," right out of the water. Yeah, this whole aging thing I thought would take a lot longer. I'd much rather go through puberty again than deal with this aging shit. You know, pimples versus arthritis, I'll take pimples any day. I went to the doctor and I said to him, you know, everything is hurting, it feels stiff, my hands, I can't button my shirts. He examined me, he says, "You got arthritis from head to toe." He says, "And you're gonna have to get used to it because arthritis makes everything stiff." Not so. She knows. So you know you're the oldest one in the family when you still have a landline. I used to smoke a lot of pot, but now when I want to feel like I feel high, I just simply stand up out of a chair real quick and I get very loopy. I go into the bathroom now, and it actually takes me longer to start peeing than it does to pee. Any guys with prostate problems? They'll validate that for me. And it's like Morse code. It's sort of these series of urinary dots and dashes. Ships at sea have started to respond. There's 4 rules to aging. 1 is you never pass up a bathroom. 2, you never waste an erection. 3, you never get on the floor without a plan to get back up. Finally, number 4, and probably most important, never trust a fart. You know, at this point in my life, my balls are getting longer than a CVS receipt. Someone asked me, when did I feel like I was getting old? And I said, well, it was the first time I sat on the toilet and I experienced splashdown. And I knew I was going to have to deal with that. So I went to the workshop and I devised what I call the TFDs, the testicular flotation device. I grabbed too many bagels, I polyurethane them so they wouldn't break up in the water, put a little smear of cream cheese, they stuck nice, my balls never hit the water again. So you see I have a couple of tattoos, and I went for a new tattoo, Pixie drops me off, and I come home, we're sitting in the backyard, she looks, she goes, why'd you get 3 lines tattooed above your knee? And I said, well, you remember when the kids were little, we would draw lines on the door jamb to chart their growth. She goes, yeah, I get that, but I don't get this whole 3 lines over your knee. I said, well, to be honest with you, I'm trying to measure the impact of gravity on my balls. She says, well, why is there a dotted line? I said, because at that point I have to stop wearing shorts. You know, okay, menopause for us was a very interesting time. I like to refer to it as the thermostat wars. Pixie was always so cold and freezing all the time, and suddenly she's running around the house sweating bullets. She turned the thermostat down so low, we actually had intermittent flurries in the bedroom. I asked her what these hot flashes were like, because I saw her all the time really suffering, and she says, it's like an internal fire. I feel like I'm burning from the inside out. I said, no, I get it. I said, it's like when I eat a very spicy Italian meal. Well, I woke up a half hour later, she was standing over me with the frying pan. We're in bed one night and I hear bzzz. Get a little excited. Bzzz. Get a little bit more excited. I roll around all ready to go, and there she is with the little fan, just trying to cool herself off. You know, menopause is basically Mother Nature's way of telling an Italian woman she's going to be dealing with facial hair for the rest of her life. In fact, my Nona at age 90 had such a luxurious beard she was asked to front for ZZ Top. That's my time. I'm Uncle Rocky. Thanks for being here. Happy Veterans Day.